You might get some off flavors depending on the source of the coloring. So, for example, a lot of red natural colorings and dyes come from beet juice. And so those might interact with some of the proteins that's in the food.
So, General Mills just announced that they'll be removing artificial colors from the entire US product line following RFK Jr.'s directives. So, this is huge because we've had artificial colors in our food for like ever. And you always look at like stuff like the Europeans and how, I don't know, many places in Europe. I know that Europe it's not a country, right? So when you say Europe, it's like, what do you mean in Europe? But a lot of places in Europe, like my understanding is the UK, they don't have this stuff. And it's like, the idea is that in the United States, you pick up a box of cereal and you look at the ingredients and it's like all stuff you don't even know what that is. It's like chemicals upon chemicals upon chemicals, right? And in Europe, or like in the UK, you can pick up a box of cereal and it's stuff that you can understand what it is, right? It's like actual ingredients. It's like actual food. And so this is great. This is one of the things that RFK Jr., who is, he's part of the new administration in the US, and he's leading health-related stuff in the administration. And he's been very big on this, like, hey, there's like, it's ridiculous that this stuff in Europe is seemingly way more healthy than our stuff, and we should strive to be more like that, right? So this is great. So this comes just hours after Kraft Heinz announced they'd also be removing theirs. So it's not just General Mills. General Mills makes a lot of cereal, right? And a lot of food. It's also Kraft Heinz. So this is MAHA, which I guess would be Make America Healthy Again. It's spreading quickly, and this is I think so far, like, this just sounds like a good thing. I think that there's people out there that are going to be looking at this and they'll be like, this is bad because like this comes from Trump's administration and I don't like Trump. But I think we got to look at this reasonably. Like, I don't think there's any world where you can look at this and say, wow, yeah, no, this is terrible. I want there to be artificial colors, especially stuff that we know from many studies, right? That this stuff isn't great. This is just chemicals. Like, your body's not really designed to digest this. Like, your body evolved to digest actual nutrients from living organisms, like, grapes, fruits, right? And meat, not, chemical artificial color number 3,442. So let's take a look and see what News Nation has to say about this.
Two major food companies promised to get rid of artificial food dyes within a 2-year period, marking an historic win for Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his Make America Healthy Again movement. News Nation Weekend anchor Anna Koyman has been tracking this one closely for us. Anna, talk about the shift that these companies are now taking and what it means for some of our family favorites, right? Mac and cheese, Jell-O, etc.
Yeah, so many of these foods have all these terrible chemicals. It's not just cereal. Right? So this is just freaking great. I'm stoked about this. This should have been something that we did like 30 years ago. Like, it shouldn't have taken until 2025. Right? So this is great to see.
Hey, Marky, good morning to you. Well, after becoming the target of RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again movement, two big food corporations are now vowing to remove artificial food dyes, despite consistently insisting their dyes are safe. So General Mills announcing it will ditch artificial dyes by the...
Look at that. So they have spent like all of eternity essentially arguing, no, all of these chemicals, they're totally safe and everything's totally fine. I mean, does that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound a little bit like cigarette companies? Because that's exactly what they did. They spent ages arguing that, oh no man, tobacco, cigarette, nicotine doesn't do anything bad, everything's totally fine, until finally the law caught up with them. And I hope things go a similar way for this kind of stuff. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video and you'd like to see bigger and better content, the only thing you need to do is hit subscribe and like, and I'll take care of the rest.
the end of 2027. The Cheerios and Lucky Charms maker says it will eliminate the synthetic dyes earlier from the foods served in our schools. They're aiming to remove those by summer of next year. And another brand, Kraft Heinz, says it will abolish all artificial food dyes in U.S. products by the end of 2027. From Jell-O to Kool-Aid.
Okay, so it's going to take some time. So it's till 2027, and you can see that this is just a start. I hope that we see a lot more stuff in this direction.
To jet puffed marshmallows, Kraft Heinz says the taste won't change too much, similar to when the company quietly removed artificial dyes from mac and cheese years ago, and many people actually didn't notice. But this time they're doing it across the board, and we talked to a food scientist who says that will be a tougher task.
You might get some off flavors depending on the source of the coloring. So, for example, a lot of red natural colorings and dyes come from beet juice. And so those might interact with some of the proteins that's in the food.
So the dyes may interact with the protein, the proteins that are in the food, and this may cause the dyes to change the taste of this food in such a way that people will get used to that particular taste of dye, right, of artificial dye. And now when you take away the dye, all of a sudden, people are going to notice and they're going to go, where's my artificial, where's my red 3042? I missed the red 3042 flavor. Like, that's crazy, but that's what's going to happen.
Says, the taste might shift in a few cases, but really the most noticeable differences will be the visuals and also the cost. So some colors just won't be quite as vibrant. Natural dyes break down faster and don't hold up during processing. And this kind of reformulation isn't necessarily cheap. Experts say it does take time and money and research and development, and that could send costs up a bit. It's why many companies actually have been afraid to pull the trigger on the change, but
it costs more money. Well, I mean, how do the European companies do it? How do the companies in the UK do it? Right? It's going to take time to research, right, and figure this out. I mean, surely, do the people in the UK, do they not have mac and cheese? Is that they can't look at how they do it over there and go, oh, somebody else already figured this out? I mean, surely they can do that. One would hope. Maybe they can form some sort of, I don't know, some sort of joint venture or something.
And also, Marky, many of these countries across the world have already banned or heavily regulated these artificial food dyes. So the recipes may have a blueprint that these companies can follow.
That's literally what I just said.
Don't touch my Crystal Light wild strawberry drink mix packets. My biggest pregnancy craving.
I don't know. It might be in the crosshairs.
It's probably on the chopping block.
Pregnancy cravings.
We'll watch and see. But what's really driving this move, Anna? Is it health or is it politics?
It depends who you ask, but it's no secret these colors, they entice Americans to eat more ultra-processed foods, which have been linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. But there's limited evidence linking artificial dyes to hyperactivity in children, cancer in laboratory animals, etc. That being said, much of Europe, Canada, and Australia already restrict or ban many of these dyes. In some states here in the United States, like California, West Virginia, they've already banned certain dyes, while New York, Virginia, Oklahoma, Illinois, and Texas here, look at your screen, are moving ahead with their own restrictions. So why are General Mills and Kraft Heinz doing this right now? Food scientists say it may be more about optics and quashing skepticism, as well as beating Washington to the punch.
This is actually similar to what Microsoft was doing when they acquired Activision Blizzard, and they got into this big kind of we're actually going to make all of these crazy changes now. We're going to do this now so we can get ahead of the regulators. So we're essentially regulating ourselves so the regulators don't even have to regulate us. So I can see them doing that. This could reduce the damage. This is kind of it will make it less bad.
These food companies are hedging ahead of time, making sure that they put in all their research and development and
so
resources
they don't get in trouble
to make that change before it becomes
and so they're ready.
Something that they need to deal with.
So bottom line, General Mills and Kraft, Markey, are getting ahead of the trend and ahead of the White House too.
Okay. I say you and I do a taste test one of these days. When it's all said and
blind
done,
taste test. We should do it.
we'll line them up. All right, Anna Koyman, thanks so much. Remember, everybody, you can catch Anna Koyman live every weekend, 1 p.m. Eastern
All right.
Standard.
Yeah, so, this was great. This is a really good thing. It's really sad that there's people out there that will go, oh, no, this is bad because Trump did it or whatever. RFK Jr. is with Trump now or whatever. Like, forget that, man. Like, the truth is that this is going to be good for the people of America, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good for the children, right? There's so many people out there that are like, oh, think of the children. Well, think of the children. Right? It's just one case. Like, children love eating these cereals and, these like colored foods. So this is good. We need more of this. So I'm glad this is happening.
Subscribe and like.